Okay, so normally we rerun these a week later on YouTube, more or less the same as they were on the site, but since this was a prediction episode and it's relevant and we know whether or not the predictions came true, we're not only going to drop the YouTube rerun early, we're dropping it with these pithy little drop-in pauses where I briefly mention whether or not anything came true or not. It's almost like fresh content. And here we are, the first episode of the new initiative to do the big picture twice a week, so let's try something else new, or at least that we haven't done in a while. An episode that'll be dated within a couple days, so you gotta watch it right the hell away, by making some San Diego Comic-Con predictions. Since it's starting up this week, and by the time anyone watches this, I should be touching down in San Diego myself to see the sights and appear as part of this panel on Saturday at 5 p.m. Check us out. It was fun, and you should have gone to it. It was also starting at the same time as the Marvel Hall H panel, so I technically missed watching the first hour or so of that live, but I did catch up. Normally, this would be a somewhat daunting task to take on the night before. One has to fly cross-country to Southern California because all the big movie studios and TV companies and everyone else turns up to what used to be a comic book convention to show off their stuff and make big announcements, so there's a whole deluge to go through. But this year, since it was a given that Marvel people were just going to show up and take 20 individual victory laps for Avengers Endgame and then suck enough oxygen out of the gas lamp district to kill Godzilla by probably announcing all or most of the Phase 4 and or Disney Plus Marvel streaming slate, this was more or less exactly what happened. Everyone else pretty much said, nah, we're just gonna sit this year out rather than get completely blown off the stage attention-wise. So yeah, this is gonna be an entirely Marvel predictions list. Deal with it.
Perfectly balanced, this whole thing should be.
Okay, real talk, most of the late announced big Marvel presentation will probably be a victory lap about the big year they just had, maybe bring some of the Avengers out one last time, show people some deleted stuff for the DVD, you know, that sort of thing. They also got to brag about finally passing Avatar as the biggest blockbuster of all time officially. In terms of what they will show for new stuff or announce, it's always hard to say because of how Marvel makes these movies. Remember that we only just found out that Gwyneth Paltrow shot that whole scene from Spider-Man, and they didn't even tell her it was for Spider-Man, and a whole bunch of people didn't know whose funeral they were supposed to be attending in Endgame until they saw the movie themselves. The safest bet is we'll see something from Black Widow, since that's the next movie supposedly coming out, and maybe get some idea of the plot, the supporting characters, the villain. Yep, they told us all that. It was the big finale to the whole presentation. The big get would be learning the identity of Florence Pugh's supposedly very important but yet unnamed role. Most people are assuming she's the inheritor to the Black Widow identity to carry the franchise forward because Scarlett Johansson is really, really anxious to get back to chasing award roles, but she could just as easily be, say, Spider-Woman or someone else no one's thought of yet. She's playing Yelena Belova, aka Black Widow 2, so it's probably she's taking over in the present for ScarJo as the franchise moves forward, if they make any more Black Widow movies or she appears in any of the other films. It's probably also time to tell everyone what the Eternals is actually going to be, because no one outside of hardcore comics fandom has ever heard of the Eternals, and no one inside comics fandom has ever really cared about the Eternals. Like, ever. Once. Granted, the last time this was the case, it turned out to be Guardians of the Galaxy, and that was one of the biggest things they ever did, so there's clearly room for this to work, but now that Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, Richard Madden, and Kumail Nanjiani are all signed on, it's probably time to tell people who they're playing and what the hell this thing is about. Well, they announced the whole cast, including Marvel's first deaf actor to play their first deaf hero and some vague general sense of the plot, but to be honest, if I was playing at home, I didn't already know the idea of this, I'd still be confused and at a loss as to what the hell the Eternals movie is. They also already just surprise announced that they're going to do Thor 4, so for those keeping track, that whole, oh no, everyone and everything you love that started in Phase 1 is all wrapped up now, you'll probably never see the original Avengers on screen again thing lasted a whole couple of months. Obviously, it's a little early to tell us what it's about. Maybe we'll get a title, though. It's called Thor Love and Thunder. Oh, I have to assume the big asks are going to be, will we finally see Beta Ray Bill? Will Natalie Portman come back? If so, will she be Jane Foster, female Thor? Yes, she will, and it was the big showstopper surprise of what was a pretty damn surprising showcase. I still can't believe they pulled it off, honestly, and now I can't wait to see this. For female Thor, will Jeff Goldblum come back? Valkyrie is back as well, and Tessa Thompson and Kevin Feige both confirmed on stage that she will be established herein as the first LGBTQ Marvel Cinematic Universe superhero. How about that? Lady Sif, fuck Hercules. Hell, will they do Angela like the comics and continue their now legally allowed Neil Gaiman endorsed public trolling of Todd McFarlane? That would be fun. Beyond those three, your guess is as good as mine. Oh, and I imagine we'll also find out who's playing Shang-Chi, the Master of Kung Fu. Shang-Chi will be played by Canadian-Chinese actor Simu Liu, and as part of a predominantly Asian cast. The full title is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and international cinema legend Tony Leung has been cast as the Mandarin, a famous Marvel villain whose existence has only been hinted at before via Ben Kingsley portraying an imposter version in Iron Man 3. We get a solid yes, we're making these officially confirmation for Black Panther 2, Doctor Strange 2, Captain Marvel 2, and These did all, in fact, get confirmed verbally by Kevin Feige as part of the big stage party send-off at the very end. Yeah, while I would love to see a big, dramatic, showy, welcome back, sorry about all that bullshit and the haters moment dedicated to James Gunn coming out to reaffirm that Guardians 3 is happening and maybe reveal the new date, I assume they'll play that for nuance and congeniality and just re-announce the movie, though it really would be great if he did end up coming out on stage, James Gunn that is, getting a big round of applause, just officially close the book on all of that shit. This didn't happen, but they did reaffirm the movie. Otherwise, who knows? This particular studio is really good at surprises. They covered up Civil War plans right up until the actual reveal, remember? So the big unknowns are unknown still. I don't expect a big Spider-Man announcement because they have to clear that with Sony. I've heard the same rumors everyone else has about Young Avengers, Dark Avengers, A-Force, Ironheart, Miss Marvel, Nova, etc. as everybody else, and while I'm sure most of those are all on the list to one degree or another somewhere, I don't think they're set to announce any of them just yet, especially the Avengers ones. I feel like they're going to make people wait a while before they call anything else the Avengers again, just to make it a big deal. Yeah, got that pretty right. Instead of any of those, they announced Mahershala Ali as Blade and fleshed out the premise and cast of the Disney Plus shows. I do have a long-running cash bet with several people that they'll eventually use the Thunderbolts license for something because, you know. And then there's the big one. Disney owns all the Fox stuff now, so will they announce anything about Fantastic Four and X-Men? I honestly really doubt it. I mean, it would be amazing if they did, just to swerve everyone and say, yep, we're doing Fantastic Four, let's meet the cast, but logistically speaking, it's unlikely, and no, I don't see it. Okay, so they didn't announce the cast, but they did confirm that they're doing Fantastic Four, so guess I was wrong about that. They went ahead and did that. And also something with mutants, so okay. That having been said, it would not surprise me too much if they stage what looks like it's going to be a reveal for one or both of those, but instead it turns out to be just Deadpool coming out to make fun of us for actually expecting that to happen, but then announcing Deadpool 3, since that's the only Fox Marvel thing that Disney has unequivocally said all along, oh yeah, we're gonna make that. Nothing on Deadpool 3, which is kind of surprising, ironically enough. And, oh hey, that should just about wrap things up here. Thanks for watching, folks. And yeah, that's about what I think is maybe likely to happen with all of those things. I'm Bob, see you in San Diego.